Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and welcome to New Life Live. It is Thursday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, for those that are superstitious. And why are you? Well, it's interesting. Why? Dr. Alice Benton's always been superstitious, and Marc Cameron are on with me today. And why do people get superstitious? Do you have any idea? I mean, do they just latch onto it early on? Don't give it up? What?
I think it is so soaked into the culture, even if it's in a joking way, that I think few of us question it, and so we take it in. Everybody talks about Friday the 13th, so that's just the way it is without really wondering.
Yeah.
Wait,
well, you know, the other day I stayed on the 14th floor at a hotel, and I looked, there's no 12. So I'm actually on the 13th floor. Uh-huh. It's just labeled 14. You can't change the fact it's the 13th floor up there. So I asked him to move me. No, I didn't. I just thought it was interesting that there was no 13.
I've heard about that before. That is funny that hotels do that because people are that superstitious.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not superstitious here. We know that we can help you no matter what super or stition you're in. We want that. Now, look, Mark, you did this little video on negative feedback, right? And how to respond when somebody is negative. Talk about that a little bit, because all of us have people that can be a bit negative.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. And I want to, disclosure here. I did this video. I'm not saying that I'm an expert on doing this stuff. It's because I've had to learn and continue to do these things. And so, we're all going to receive negative feedback at some point. And so some of the highlights from what I say in this video is, the first thing I think is to listen to understand the other person's pain. Oftentimes we're listening for facts that we want to debate when somebody shares something with us, and it's learning how to kind of reset and listen for the emotion that's underneath what that person's trying to share with us.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the other thing that I would say is not defending. Not defending is not the same as assuming blame. This one is really, really hard, because when somebody says something to us that we don't agree with, we want to clarify, we want to explain, we want to justify, and oftentimes that shuts down communication with the person sharing with us. And so in order to do that, also we have to accept that others have a right to hold an opinion, just as much as we have a right to hold an opinion. And also, I would say, own something in there. When someone's being vulnerable enough to share something with you, own something in there. And, owning something could even be as little as not listening sooner or not acknowledging that there was a problem. And I think lastly here, what I would say is just learn how to self-soothe, right? It's really difficult for somebody to receive somebody saying something challenging about you, and learning just to kind of hear them out and then calm yourself down afterwards.
And let's clarify, we're talking about kind of a normal conversational, somebody says something a bit negative. We're not talking about when you're married to somebody and they're angry all the time, right. They're yelling at you. There's no, I hear what you're yelling. You don't have that. So what you're yelling is, no, that's not how we do it. We have to get ourselves out of that situation so that we're emotionally safe. Just like if a person's angry and they're holding a knife or a gun, we have to get ourselves into a physically safe place, not be vulnerable to that. But the same when it's emotional abuse.
Correct.
I don't want to be around.
There's a way, I think, to speak so that others continue listening, and there's also a way to listen so that others continue speaking, and that's an art.
And we're going to have you practice saying things to us, see if we'll listen. 'Cause I think we will. We'll be back right after this with more New Life Live. 1-800-229-3000.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
The Every Man's Battle workshop is being held online as a one-day event Saturday, May 13th. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and before I go to this call, I want to be sure that we've got the online version of our weekend intensive. So, maybe travel is impossible, do childcare, whatever, maybe it's expense. You can do it from your home, and we've got Restore, Every Man's Battle, and then this weekend, Emotional Freedom. And I hope and pray that you're going to work this out where you can join us if you need it. And to get more information about that, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But to join us, it's 1-800-229-3000. I haven't been on the program so long I get confused now. All right, so let's go and talk with, how about we talk with, Debbie listens on WABA. Debbie, you are on, and how are you today? What's going on in your life?
Hi, I'm well, thank you. I have a question for you.
Okay.
My daughter is still living with me and my husband, and she's about to turn 26. It's her stepfather, and he wants her out of the house. And he's wanted her out of the house since she moved back in about 3 years ago, right when COVID hit. She didn't have a job, and she had just graduated from college. And then in her field, she wasn't able to find anything once things started opening up. But she does have a job now. She's got several. And he wants her out. He doesn't want her here. He does things to her that are not very nice. They're kind of passive-aggressive. They've had blow-ups before, and she has apologized, but he's never apologized to her.
Okay.
And it causes quite a bit of friction in our house.
Okay. Why does he want her out, just in general? What's his reasoning on that?
Well, in general, because she's 26, that she should be out on her own. And then there was also something that happened about 2 years ago with his daughter and my daughter while they were both at the house. And it was pretty serious, but it was more his daughter that was involved in the stuff. My daughter had a role in it. But since then, it's kind of been resolved. But his daughter is out, and from then on, he has been, not nice to her. And I
so what was that happened? What was that serious thing that happened? Let us in on that.
I don't know if I can.
Well, in general, can you kind of give us an idea without, telling us?
Did the girls mistreat each other?
No. There were other things that were going on that I just can't.
Well, and that's where the trouble began? Is during that time?
No, it's always been since we've been married. He has not really liked my daughter too much. Mm-hmm. There's always been a competition between the two.
Okay. And what have you said to him? What have you said to him about that? That he doesn't really like your daughter. There seems to be a competition. Have you said those words out loud to him?
I have, yes.
And what does he say in response?
He doesn't respond to it. He's like, no, she just needs to be out. He doesn't have a response to that.
Okay.
And does your daughter want to stay? And if so, why, when it's so tumultuous between the two of them?
Yeah, that's what I wonder, too. She does want to stay, but she does want to get out. But she's in a spot where right now rents are really high. She doesn't have her friends are in the stages of getting married, or they're with boyfriends and things like that. So she doesn't really have somebody to go out and room with to share the expense. So
for financial reasons, mainly, she's motivated to stay to save money.
Financial, and because she is still trying to figure out what it is she wants to do. She has a job right now that's decent, but she doesn't think she wants to do that. She's trying to go a different route, and it is going to be...
How does your husband treat you generally? How's the quality of your relationship with him?
It's not good. I mean, he treats me well sometimes, or for the most part, most of the time. But yeah, our relationship is not good.
And the question for us would be what?
I don't know. Like, I see everybody else, their children are living with them, even though they're this age. And I don't feel like I should be pushing her out if she's not ready to go out. But yet then there's this turmoil here at home, and I don't know what to do because I feel like I'm caught in the middle. Because I can see her side of it, but yet I can see his side of it, but I don't feel like I should be pushing her out. I didn't get pushed out of my house when I was, her age. I was able to stay until I was ready to go. And that's the way it seems like with most of the people that I know, they allow their children to stay with them. But there's this constant, she needs to get out. She needs to get out.
Well, there's a kind of staying that's really unhealthy. And that kind of staying is when the person that's there isn't working, isn't talking with someone about what they want to do, is just kind of there. Now, is that true in this case? Is she working? Is she exploring with the right people, job hunter, things like that? What's she doing?
Yeah, she is working, and she's working. She's got 3 different jobs, one full-time, the other 2 are part-time. So she is working. And she's staying around people that are decent people. She bounces between her boyfriend's house and here because when it's bad here, she doesn't want to be here.
Okay, so the question for us is exactly what? What do you want us to tell you?
I don't know what to do because I feel like I shouldn't be pushing her out. So I guess, am I okay with saying, hey, she can stay? Or should I be trying to tell her, look, you need to start looking for something?
Well, Debbie, I think you've got a couple of things going on. I think, one, there is, at some point your daughter is going to need to launch. And what I hear you saying is that she's got a job, she's got resources coming in. And so I do think it is healthy for, parents, husband and wife to actually speak with adult kids and come up with a plan. It doesn't need to be like you need to be out in 2 weeks, but I would recommend coming up with a 3 to 6 months plan, whatever seems most reasonable based on her situation, where, you have certain deliverables that she needs to either start, paying you incremental rent or saving money, but moving toward leaving and moving out and gaining independence, because that's a part of her stage of development that she needs to accomplish to get into full adulthood here.
Mark, let me interrupt you and just ask. Now, if you don't feel good about her leaving, but if there was a plan, like Mark is saying, where 3 to 6 months from now she's going to leave, would you feel better about that? Would you support that?
Yeah, I guess I would, but I guess my problem with it is right now she's wanting to go into a different career path that's going to require her to do a little bit of schooling, and that may take longer than the 3 to 6 months.
Well, she needs to do that. She needs to do that on her own. So you've got too much conflict going on there. I think she needs to find a way to live where she's going to live, work her 3 jobs, and then she may have to go slower than she thought in this new direction. Maybe she wanted to take 3 classes. Maybe she can only take 1 at a time. That's my 2 cents.
Right.
Alice, you've been listening very well. I think you paid attention. What is it that you think we might be missing, or you want to add?
Debbie, I would guess that you have a high sensitivity to your daughter's struggle. And in your sensitivity, which is not a bad thing, you may want to cushion life for her a little more than what is best for her. It's so admirable that she's doing this work, that she is prolonging that period of time of figuring life out. And I think allowing her some added pressure would actually be beneficial and might help her speed her process along. And so I think it's in her better interest to have this timeline as well. And I want you to check your sensitivity to her struggle. And it may be because of your husband's mistreatment of her, maybe because of the previous divorce from her father. When we mothers hold a lot of guilt about all the pain our children have already been through because of marital problems, we can overprotect them, which is not in their best interest in the long run. And then I would suggest trying to link your husband's frustration with her, because he does have some legitimate frustration, and maybe the girls have been treated differently. So his daughter might have gotten the shorter end of the stick. She was pushed out sooner for whatever reason. So we also know your husband doesn't deal well with his frustration. He lashes out at your daughter. I would try inviting him in to some counseling for that. And I might word it as, I know you're frustrated with how I'm dealing with my daughter, with your stepdaughter. What do you think about us going into some sessions so that we can get a good plan in place about how and when to launch her? We can come to some middle ground together. But let's also talk through the frustration you're feeling towards me about this so we can figure out better ways to handle our frustration. Because whether or not she leaves the house, I'm a little worried about you and how he's going to be treating you when things are frustrating and hard.
Right, because I think that's what it's going to turn to, is me.
Well, but here's the thing.
But I think right on.
Oh, Debbie, what you just said, it may be that you're allowing your daughter to stay longer subconsciously because she's then the target of his mistreatment.
She's the buffer for you.
Yes.
Well, I don't want her to be. I really don't. Because it
no,
does
of course
pain me.
not.
Like you said, I can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do speak up when he does do the stuff.
But sometimes we have a conflict like that, Debbie, where we don't want someone to be the buffer, but it's also helpful for us in a certain way, and that's where the tension lies. And that's the second thing that I was going to say to you. I think, having your daughter move out, that's a separate thing from communication with your husband. And that's really another major thing that needs to be addressed for you guys.
Right.
So here's the thing. I would say to your husband, I've been thinking about you're wanting my daughter to leave. And I think what I came to realize is I have a problem with it because just instantly saying go, it's kind of unreasonable. So here's what I'm thinking. We need to help her leave. And the help would come in the form of a plan for her to leave. And would you, husband, help me develop that plan? Because it's just never going to happen. I'm not ever going to be supportive of pack your suitcase, get in the car, don't come back. But a plan, that's where we can all get on the same page. What do you think of that?
Right. I think you're right. And I have been charging her rent and collecting it to save up as a down payment for her. Good. But when I go to talk to her about it, she immediately gets mad and gets upset because she feels like I'm kicking her out. And I don't know. Okay. I guess she's not ready to get kicked out.
What's another phrase we could use other than when she says, I feel like you're kicking me out? You could say, you know what? I am not kicking you out. What I am doing is helping you become a competent, independent, strong woman. And to do that, you can't really live here. And if I was kicking you out, I would say pack your bag and go. But what I want to do with your stepfather is develop a reasonable plan where you make the choices that allow you to be an independent, competent woman. You want to do classes. We can't foster you living here for another 2 years while the classes are being completed. It doesn't make sense. So let's sit down and work on this plan. And it's not a plan to kick you out. It's a plan to usher you into strength and independence as a woman. What do you think of that?
I think that sounds great.
Okay. Then I'll use it again. Oh, it's tough. I'll send you Jim Burns' book, Doing Life with Your Adult Children. How old is she, by the way?
She's 26.
26. All right. It's time. You know, it is time. My daughter, who's 32, she's always been independent, always saved money. Not because of me, but because that's just who she is. And sometimes we can help, we can train, but other times, you know, it's just not in them. And we need to help it get in there for the rest of their lives. Hi, this is Steve Arterburn from New Life Live, and Chris Williams and I are doing the Emotional Freedom Workshop. A lot of people are in, you could literally say, in bondage from past trauma that has created an emotional web that they don't understand, and it prevents them from being free. A person that loses their temper regularly is not emotionally free. Someone who has anxiety just to get in the car and leave the house is not emotionally free. And walking around with the shame from a childhood or even a bad relationship as an adult, that is not emotional freedom, and we can help you get there.
The New Life Emotional Freedom Online Workshop is Saturday, April 15th. Steve Arterburn, Chris Williams, and Dr. Jackie McHarris will present information on the power of our emotions, procrastination, guilt and shame, and more. And small group leaders will help you process the information you learn. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or register online at newlife.com. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, Steve Arterburn here, and really glad that you're with us today. I hope you'll join us Saturday. It's not too late to join Emotional Freedom. If you're struggling, depression, anxiety, whatever it is, shame, we can help you with that. In fact, we got 3 workshops coming up, and they're all online. Every Man's Battle, Restore, and this weekend, Emotional Freedom. You know, it's Thursday, and this is the day that we release a brand new Life Recovery Today episode on our television station and the podcast. Everybody can benefit from Life Recovery Today and the experience that comes and we share on that program. So check it out. I mean, it's there every Thursday, and all you have to do is visit liferecoverytoday.net for the details on how to connect with the episodes. I think you'll like it. I mean, if we're not in recovery, what are we in? Kind of a state of relapse. That's not good. All right, let's go to our phones. And you guys, we were just talking about who we were going to talk with next. What do you think?
Let's talk to Samantha on line 6.
Samantha, line 6, how are you today?
I'm okay.
Are you? Oh. What's going on? Why did you call today? It doesn't sound that way.
I have
a husband that's a higher up in the church that is a compulsive masturbator.
Uh-huh.
And while he may not do it at church, he still has eyed women up and down and all of that. And in the meantime, his doctors had thought it was wise to give him testosterone at such high levels that he had to have his blood drawn so he wouldn't clot. He has been off of that now, but I'm still signs.
Okay, so he's off of the high levels of testosterone, right?
Right, but from looking back at the behaviors, I think this has gone on all along. I just didn't quite just react as fast.
Okay. So, has he said that he wants to do anything to get better?
Yeah, he's going to pray about it. And he is reading more, but, if you go to even just the regular feed, almost nude girls show up.
Yeah.
In local, in more conservative news. And
okay.
I had found 3 incognito windows at one time. He's figured out all the ways, but he would stand over me and scream, "I never did those things. You're crazy."
Hey,
and
all right. So here's the deal. He's unfaithful to you. I mean, that's being unfaithful. He had said
spoiled the marital bed, and we were
he said
to
what?
Talk about it.
What did he say?
He
said
marital bed.
I still didn't hear that. Say it one more time.
Spoiled the marital bed.
Oh boy. Okay. So, have you known about this and not done anything about it till now, or have you done things along the way? Where are you with this?
Trying to get well.
Okay, you're cutting out. I would like you to listen to what I would do if I was in your situation. Here's what I would do. I would say to him, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get better. And if you don't take that opportunity, then I'm going to give you the opportunity to face the reality that you have. But here's what you need to do. You need to call New Life and go to the Every Man's Battle workshop. That's the first thing. Second thing, when you get over the workshop, when you're done with that, you need to agree to sit down face to face in a Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting with other men. And the third thing, you need to get counseling from a PhD psychologist who can help you with this problem. Now, if you don't want to do that, I'm going to send a letter to the pastor and the other deacons telling them what you've been involved with and your unwillingness to get help. And I hate to do that because I'd rather you choose to get better than for me to have to do this. But it's come down to this. Mark, Alice, what do you think? Would you throw anything else in there? How would you do it?
Samantha, I think I hear you struggling to hold back your tears. And oh, sweetheart, I think this has been throughout your entire marriage, I think there's been at least a coldness, if not a mistreatment, and then the ongoing infidelity. And so it sounds to me as if you have lost your power, if you ever really felt like you had it, to be assertive and to stand up for yourself. And it can be terrifying to imagine setting these expectations and requirements, and they're good and they're necessary. So I want you to consider which one of these might be true that sucked your power from you. Part of it might be that your husband is a church leader and we're not supposed to do something against a church leader, and the others I'll share after we come back from the break.
All right. Glad that you called us. We're going to give you help here. If you need help, it's 1-800-229-3000. These workshops, I'm telling you, they're amazing. And to find out about them, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's simple. But really, you could be a person without sexual integrity and by the end of the day, on a track to be consistent with your credibility and character. You could also be in a healing process if you go to Restore. So many things happen when you sign up. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll be back.
My husband was involved with a pornography addiction. He was unfaithful. I called the wedding off. He stepped out on the marriage and ended up having a child.
The Restore Workshop is designed for a woman dealing with a man's sexual addiction issues.
My husband is a recovering sex addict. There were strip clubs, other ladies.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, the Restore Workshop will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
Restore has empowered me and has given me the tools to work through my anger, work through my pain, work through my confusion, and help me realize that I am worthy.
Being here and being surrounded by people who get it has given me my power back.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, June 10th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Thank you, Restore. You have changed my life forever.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Marc Cameron, Dr. Alice Benton, and the person that has done so much for New Life over the years is going to do something else for New Life right now, Larry Sonnenberg. Larry, how you doing, and what do you have for us?
Well, Emotional Freedom is coming up on Saturday, one-day online workshop, and here's how I want to encourage you to think about it. This is what a previous attendee said. I was looking forward to the small group experience under the guidance of a trained counselor. The victory I received from being able to be in a small group that felt safe and I could share freely and not worry about overwhelming everyone helped me to get in touch with my grief and find true freedom to heal. I'm so thankful for the experience and look forward to the sustained healing sessions.
Very nice. You know, sometimes we're stuck and somebody says, well, you need to forgive. But you come to emotional healing and then somebody points out, you know, before you can really forgive, you need to deal with that hurt that happened and maybe experience that. Or you need to grieve the fact that your father or mother wasn't there. We can help you find the missing link toward healing. That's the big, wonderful thing that can happen, and it does happen to a lot of people.
Two other things, Steve. One is she mentions, or he, I don't even know what it was, mentions a group. And not only the group experience, but looking forward to the sustained healing sessions. We want you to heal. This is a springboard into healing, these workshops.
Yeah, it is.
So we want you to continue in that healing, and we've created a sustained healing opportunity for you to continue weekly with your group and with a counselor to help you keep on. So that was really good.
Yep.
The other thing is the need for funds. New Life is in a season of just, we're kind of hurting over people not giving as much as they had been previously for the last 6 months or so. So I'm here just to say, kind of ring the bell and the alarm and say, help. There's a red flag. We don't want to go down. We want you to help us. And we're not serious about going down, but it's just that feeling when you're used to having a certain amount of money come in, it just stops. And I know some of you are feeling that because you've lost jobs. The economy is not doing the best for a lot of folks. So we understand that, and we just want you to please consider hanging in there with us. We're so appreciative of those of you who trust us and have continued, but we also just need help otherwise. So
yeah,
thanks about
well,
giving a gift.
Yeah, I think we've been surprised that this didn't happen sooner, but it's happened now. And if you'll come on board and help us, things will be okay. And you can do that by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And we'll send you a copy of Trust by Henry Cloud. It's really an amazing book. And here's the subtitle: Knowing When to Give It, When to Withhold It, How to Earn It, and How to Fix It When It Gets Broken. Trust is such an issue with so many of the things that we deal with here on New Life Live. Larry, anything else you have for us?
Thank you, everybody who is giving. Can't thank you enough. And Steve, it's good having you back. I know you had a lot of stuff going on personally in life that kept you out for a couple of weeks, but it's good to have you back on here.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I love being here and plan on being here at least another week or two. All right. Thank you, Larry.
Okay.
And let's go back to our phones. And why don't you guys pick who you think
Well, we were still talking with Samantha.
Oh, that's right.
And Samantha, I want to help you identify. I want you to think and pray over these beliefs that might be keeping you stuck in a place of feeling powerless against what your husband is doing. And again, one is that he's a church leader. Another is that his anger may be so frightening and overpowering that it keeps you coward. Perhaps you question yourself. Is he really being unfaithful? Is it just masturbation? Because it's easy to minimize some of those behaviors and to justify them. And you might also be striving, I think you are, to be a good Christian wife. And a lot of us believe that means forgive and forget over and over again, as many times as is necessary. But truly biblical love is allowing someone to experience the consequences of ongoing toxic, bad behavior. And so that Matthew tells us that when there's an unrepentant, sinful behavior that continues, we address it with a witness, and then if it keeps happening, we have to back away to protect our heart, to protect our body. And the backing away is what can sometimes wake the perpetrator up by the loss to what they have been doing. And then sometimes there's change, but it takes the consequences for their behavior for change to happen generally.
And if I could just offer just one quick thing of challenge and encouragement for you, Samantha, is that behaviors only exist in environments that enable them. So for you to take that action and hold him accountable, and I really encourage you to come to Restore on June 10th and help us, allow us to help walk you through how to heal from this and how to go through this process.
So a man laid by the pool for many years, and Jesus sees him and says, "Do you want to be healed?" And he laid by this healing pool. You'd think you wouldn't need to ask that. But there are a lot of people who look like they want healing, but they're not really willing to do what it takes to be healed. When you're willing and you're ready, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we will put you in a different direction. I think you'll be very grateful that we did. All right, now who would be great for us to go with now that we've talked with Samantha?
Let's talk with Kevin on line 2.
Kevin, line 2. How are you, Kevin? What's going on with you today?
I'm doing fine today. I appreciate you taking my phone call.
Sure.
I know at the beginning of the program you mentioned unlucky Friday the 13th. Well, I was born on Friday the 13th, so today's my birthday. So anyhow.
Well, that's wonderful, and I'm glad you called on your birthday. By the way, being born on Friday the 13th, you realize in all of the trillions and trillions of planets and stars and light years out there, this is the only place that God grants life to people. So I would say you're very fortunate. You got one of them, and you win. And now the question is, how could we help you make it better? Is there a specific issue we could help you with?
Well, there is, and it's going to be maybe a word of affirmation of something I've been thinking. Brief little history. 6 years ago, I found out that my wife had been cheating on me for a period of 10 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyhow, I
with
separated
the same person?
from her
Is that with one person?
No, she cheated on me with 7 different individuals.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I had asked her, I had to work out of town, and before I had left out of town, I said, I want to make sure we're good. Our marriage is strong, and that, everything's going to be fine. Well, like I said, that we've been married for 32 years. So anyhow, it was rough finding out. But anyhow, separated, short period, talked counselors and all, and we decided to try to reconcile. So anyhow, we're back together. But then 2 weeks ago, and during this period of time, she's been seeing psychiatrists and therapists and all, but 2 weeks ago, she just up and left. So anyhow, I'm heartbroken. I've believe in the sanctity of marriage. I wasn't going to give up. Like I said, I took my vows serious, even though she didn't. And I know God gives me the right to divorce her. I've been waiting, to hear God's calling, and I know He can speak through many different sources.
And Kevin, Kevin, as you're trying to decide, do you pursue a divorce or not now that she's left? Is she talking to you since she left? What is she saying about what she's doing?
She just says that she wants to be married. She's sorry. She just needs to get her mind, right. And like I said, my heart is for her.
And so even though
like
she left, is she still continuing in the counseling y'all have been doing?
That I'm not for sure. I'm really not for sure.
And so leave us with a question as we move towards the break. What can we think about over the break for you?
If this is the period, I know there's all seasons, but is this the time? I'm 61 years old, and is this the time for me to just go ahead and move on?
All right, we're gonna help you make that choice. Right after this, you're listening to New Life Live, and if you need help, you can talk to us on the radio, but there are people in our phone center waiting for you to call. They get up in the morning, they want to help folks. That's what they're there for. And they're so wonderful and so smart. Call them, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Ask them what you want to ask, and they'll tell you about the resources that can really help and turn your life around. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Stephen Arterburn from New Life Ministries. We know that Christian counseling changes lives. We hear evidence of that every day.
My relationships with my husband, with my friends, with my family are much richer and deeper and honest. Particularly my relationship with God, I see Him in a more accurate form and begin to trust Him more. There's joy and there's peace because I have the internal tools that I can trust. So it's radically changed my life. I'm just not even the same person.
Our nationwide network of licensed Christian counselors means there is help available near you.
Take the leap, jump in, and go for it. It's changed my life completely.
You don't have to be stuck where you are, but you can't really expect to change unless you take action. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. It could be the start of a whole new life for you. Christian counseling works, and we can help. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE today. Someone who cares is always there at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. And, well, is it time to give up or is it time to hang in there? And you guys, let's help with this decision. But I would say this. The decision doesn't necessarily depend on you. In other words, well, you have to make the choice. But what is the other person doing? Are they saying, I'll never do it again? Oh, that's nice. But what are they doing to be sure they'll never do it again? What are they doing to heal? What are they doing to transform? Alice, you take it from there.
I think the answer does lie in part. She's saying she still wants to try, but she needs time apart. And so perhaps a separation is still worthy of testing the relationship if she continues in the counseling. And that's the real clincher for me, Kevin, because the counseling is obviously so necessary for her to break this cycle. And I'd imagine there's some severe trauma in her history with this level of acting out. And so I would want her to also be focused on some trauma counseling. Otherwise, I think the pattern will continue unless the trauma is taken care of.
Yeah. Mark, anything you want to say?
What I would say to you, Kevin, is I see a lot of people in this situation, they discover, betrayal, and then they feel like they have to make a choice. Do I divorce or do I stay in the marriage? And what I tell people is that you're allowed to actually be on pause. You're allowed to actually not make a decision for right now and just gather your thoughts for a time period. And what I suggest for you is to maybe come up with a 6-month plan for yourself, right? What's going to be your healing plan for the next 6 months? And that's your pause period. And then that healing plan, you might actually ask your wife, I want you to do X, Y, Z in the next 6 months. So you might want to ask her for that healing, for what is her healing plan if she wants to restore your marriage. And then at the end of the 6 months, as you gain support and you're in therapy, you reflect after that 6-month period and you look at how you want to move forward from there.
And you are a very rare man, because most men, when someone's unfaithful, they just leave. They don't even think about it. But you're a rare person, and she needs to appreciate that. And I don't want you to hang on to something that's just going to hurt you again. And so I like the 6-month plan, but be sure that she tells you what she's going to do to grow and never, ever do this again. Have no need to do it again.
And show proof of what she's doing, not just the words, but the proof.
Well, let me send you a copy of Henry's book, Trust, and I think that's got some really great, some great lines of demarcation on this person's trustworthy or they're not, and I hope that you'll enjoy that. And thank you for calling us. I think we've got time for one short call, so you guys choose who you want that to be.
Let's talk with Catherine on line 8.
Catherine, line 8. You're on. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for taking my call. It's actually a two-part, one dealing with the more immediate circumstances and then one more with the future.
Okay.
But
what is it?
My husband had a stroke several years ago, which left him with a lot of problems on his right side and a little bit of a memory loss. He doesn't work. He can't work as a result. He can't drive, and that has impacted his life greatly, but it also impacts mine. He was told by the physical therapist things that he could do at home to help his recovery along. He refuses to do any of that. So I get frustrated with him because I don't think he's done enough on his own to help his recovery.
Okay.
The thing that has complicated it, a couple of years ago, an incident occurred, and at home I was gone to work, and the neighbors called the police. And long story short, he was sent for a psychiatric evaluation, and at that time he was diagnosed as being bipolar.
Okay.
He totally denies being bipolar.
All right. So now you can ask us a question because we're about out of time.
Okay, so I just wonder, he can take care of his own personal care.
But you need to ask a question, and then we'll do the best we can.
I guess how much can I expect from him? What is too much to expect in his condition? With his being bipolar, I'm not sure if I expect too much from him or if I don't expect enough.
Yeah.
And
you know what I would do? Let me tell you what I would do. I would go get with a therapist. Hopefully he has one. I would sit down with that therapist and I would say, here's what we need to agree on, the three of us, that this is a realistic expectation and this over here, that's unrealistic of me to expect that. And then now you've got a third party who really understands the dilemma, helping you figure out what's the right thing to expect and where to surrender on the other. Mark, Alice, what do you think here before we leave?
Include the primary care provider's opinion in that and pass the counselor's plan that you come up with by the primary care provider so that you also get the medical side of what your husband physically and mentally is capable of. And Dr. Daniel Amen does an incredible job with SPECT scans to look at the underlying brain structures that have been impacted by a stroke to be able to advise what a person is capable of and what brain health can be regenerated by taking good brain care. Engaging in good brain care can really bring a person an astounding amount of healing.
Yes, it can.
And I think, Catherine, you might also, in this process, think about some boundaries that you can put in place because you can't think yourself out of bipolar, but there are medications to help with bipolar. And I think some of the boundaries that you put in place need to be contingent upon your husband being compliant with his medications.
And I'll send you our book that we wrote, Understanding and Loving a Person with Bipolar. You had the final thing you wanted to say here?
Well, the thing is, he doesn't acknowledge being bipolar. He totally denies it.
Okay. Well, all the more reason to sit down with the
medication. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's tragic. Okay, so you really need to sit down with a psychiatrist who can help you with the medication. I wish we had more time, but really, you have to get him in front of the person who can tell him, here's what medication does, here's the downside, upside, and he needs to commit to that. Otherwise, anything you expect is a bit too much for it to be consistent. But he needs to get the medication. All right, we're almost out of time. Remind you that you could join us, Chris Williams, Jackie Mack Harris, myself, Emotional Freedom, this Saturday, April 15th. Every Man's Battle is May 13th. And Restore, June the 10th. A lot of healing there. And then Intimacy and Marriage, July the 28th in Washington, D.C. I hope and pray that you'll join us for one of these, and I think you will be astounded at the amount of progress that you can make in just one weekend. Really is fantastic. If you need help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, it's the same number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And when you help us, we'll send you this great book. It's already a bestseller, Trust, by Dr. Henry Cloud, our way of saying thank you. Now, Marc Cameron, thank you for being with us. Always enjoy being on with you. And, of course, Alice, always enjoy being on with you.
Likewise.
We're so fortunate to have wise people that want to help you. And, when they're not wise, we let them go. So you can always know that we're going to try to have the best folks. A lot of people can't do this, because it's not therapy. It's knowing therapy and trying to give advice and direction, which is a little bit different. So we'll be here tomorrow. Hope you will. We'll be here this weekend, Emotional Freedom. If you need help or you can help us, that number, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Sure hope you'll use it. Call us. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.